Wondering what are the fire trucks doing there along the freeway? Our understanding is there are several brush fires.
There was a small fire off the 118 freeway. We thought that might have slowed down the procession, but it seems not to have, and we are expecting that the procession will arrive there at the Reagan Presidential Library momentarily, certainly within the next few minutes or so. But one of the things that everyone seems to be bringing up has to do with the love that Nancy and Ronald Reagan had for each other. Whatever you think President Reagan's legacy is, and we know that Nancy Reagan was really deeply involved in the Just Say No campaign, probably their greatest legacy was their love.
Well, it's devotion, it's loyalty, things that people admire and things you don't see much of these days, unfortunately. So something to look up to and just to admire. We're going to check back in with Sandra. She's, of course, waiting there at the Presidential Library. We understand you have someone with you. Who are we talking to?
We're talking to the CEO of the Presidential Library, John Hybush, who could tell us all about what is going to be taking place here today on this very somber day, but a day that starts the official 3-day mourning of the former First Lady.
Yeah, happy to. Well, today's a great day for the public to start with because from 1 o'clock until 7 o'clock this evening, they've got the ability to come and pay their respects to Mrs. Reagan. She'll be lying in repose in the center of the Reagan Library, and they just need to watch the news, or when they come to the bottom of the hill, there'll be directions on where they can park, and we'll make sure they get up here safely. So it's a day of remembering Mrs. Reagan and being able to come out here and literally be part of the event.
She was so involved in this library, obviously working closely with you and the other board members. What will her legacy be here?
Well, she helped build and maintain the largest and most successful and grand of the presidential libraries, and that's only fitting because of President Reagan's outsized personality and his fame about the world, right? So she felt it was her job to make sure that this place just shone like that shining city on a hill that Ronald Reagan always talked about.
And for her, what kind of accommodations, I mean, she planned this out to the T. She wanted to be buried so close, within inches of the love of her life. Tell me the directions and all the logistical planning, all the procedures that have gone in place for this event.
Yeah, years of planning, really. And of the thousands of things that have to happen, the one thing that was most of interest to her was to make sure when she was laid to rest, it would be right next to the president, as close as possible. You know, if you look at photos of the two of them in the White House or before, it's hard not to see them holding hands or just with inches apart, and that's the way she wants to be put to rest.
And logistically, what was done to the library to gear up for today? I know it was shut down after the news of her death on Sunday in preparation for today.
Yeah, that's right. And then meanwhile, behind us are literally hundreds of workers that are erecting scaffolding and lights and cameras and bells and whistles and flooring and seating for the moment when she's placed at rest. And so it's a big construction crew kind of an ordeal that's happening here, but it's all planned out to the nth degree, and so far so good.
Tell me your personal stories, what you'll remember the most about her and her character.
You know, a lot of people think that, you know, if someone's famous, a lot of people are hesitant to approach them because they just feel like, you know, they're so important. Why would they care about me? In Mrs. Reagan's case, she was just so inviting and warm and gracious, and it was almost kind of a shock when you meet her to find out that she's as interested in you as you are in her. And so she had one of those great personalities that just shone like that.
And even though she was in frail and in failing health over the last few years, how integral was she still and involved in the library and the activities here?
Yeah, you know, in the last couple of years, the public didn't see very much of her at all. But we at the staff that worked for her, she's a member of our board, so we would see her every 3 months for our board meetings. She would come out to the library for special private events. She came every year, never missed sitting next to the graveside of President Reagan on the day of his death to spend quiet moments. So she was here a fair amount behind the scenes, but it's not something that the public was able to see very much.
And you got that private side of her, those private moments that nobody in the public
And there you have
able
it.
to see. I know the death of her husband was so very
You can
painful.
go see
Did you feel that pain from her? What
Mrs.
was
Reagan
that moment
at
like dealing
the
with
Simi Valley
his
Ronald
burial here in
Reagan Library.
2004?
You know, this is a very special subject that you're touching on because, you know,
Rest in peace,
she
Mrs.
lost him
Reagan.
on a certain day, June 5th,